Dansi Mito Semitic, I'm Lindsay Nixon, and this is Just Fem Things.
I love you.
I'm not using that. It's okay. Z, I need you to know how embarrassing this is. Do not promote this.
Thanks to Zibiwan and Respectful Child for letting me use their track Surround Sound in the opening, out now on Unheard Records' third compilation. And thank you, honored listeners, for choosing my podcast to listen to while you're sewing, organizing your sex toys, or doing a tarot reading, etc., etc. I met with episode guests Joshua Whitehead and Jessie Loyer in Calgary, Alberta in November 2019. It was a different time. I was on another trip that I took casually as a part of my involvement in the arts in Canada. Looking back, it almost seems like I was taking it all for granted. Now travel has changed forever. The art industry has perhaps changed forever too. We might be facing the fall of capitalism. I want to be careful not to frame what's happening as the apocalypse, because to whom? Indigenous and Black peoples have already seen the end of their ways of living and the implementation of a sick world order. Still, I can see that we're all in collective grief. We're all losing our minds collectively online. We're even having collective nightmares. Those most marginalized, such as street-involved and incarcerated populations, face governments that don't care about their lives. It was hard to make the choice to move forward with editing and releasing episodes of this podcast right now. But, as I often am, I was inspired by other Indigenous makers and creators who were releasing content online. Artists such as Jeremy Dutcher, who played for audiences from his living room, and Thurza Cuthand's video Woman Dress, which was recently released through the National Film Board, which reminded me that Two-Spirit people have a long history of traveling and telling stories to their peoples and relations across the world. Artists like these reminded me that we need to be thinking about who will tell the stories that our descendants will carry forward after the empire falls. Because among all of this, we'll always have story, no matter what. And now, more than ever, we need tender-hearted creators. Listening to a conversation I shared with Jessie Loyer and Joshua Whitehead in November during simpler times brought so much joy to my heart. It was a reminder that our ancestors endured so much so we could share pockets of joy in the aftermath of empires forevermore. Joshua Whitehead is a writer that I have long admired, who penned the novel Johnny Appleseed and the poetry collection Full Metal Indigiqueer. I even felt sheepish to be able to sit with and learn from him this past November. Though we've only known each other for a short period of time, Joshua's generous energy has stayed with me since the moment we met. It positively fills a space, even the darkest, most far-reaching corners. Jessie Loyer is Cree Métis and a member of Michelle First Nation. She's the Anthropology and Indigenous Study Liaison Librarian at Mount Royal University. Her research focuses on building reciprocal research relationships using Nehiyah legal perspectives, and she's the co-lead for building the Riddell Library and Learning Center. But I know Jessie as a down Métis girl from back home. From the second I met her, I always felt at home in her laugh and her stern spirit. What can I say? She takes care of her business, and she isn't afraid to put her foot down when necessary, like any good daughter of the Métis Nation. Upon meeting in my hotel room in Calgary, of course we all had to pull out our bundles of jewelry and talk about different designers and makers who we were wearing. And of course we had to do the obligatory earring accessorizing, even though we knew no one was going to see us.
I do love that before we started this conversation, both of you were like, wait, I'm not wearing anything. I need to get prepared. And both put on jewelry.
Only natural.
I know, because it's true. I feel naked now when I don't have earrings on.
As we began discussing when we first got our ears pierced, the topic of body modification came up. Though traditional tattooing might be trending now in the wake of the resurgence movement, Indigenous youth have long been turning to body modification communities to self-make their Indigiqueer aesthetics and birth new possibilities for themselves.
Mine aren't actually pierced, they were gauged. So I had these 0 gauges.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, if you go above that, it's not going to return to its size, whatever. And I just like kind of outgrew the gauged ears. So then they closed up, and I was like, oh, it's the perfect piercing. But it's like not like a straight hole, like straight through hole. So sometimes I'm like putting on Savage Rose or something, I have to like kind of navigate through this little like, canal. Sometimes it cuts me. I'm like, it's worth it.
Oh my god. I have an ear like that too. It doesn't have like a straight path. It's like a little weird wiggly path. And the one just goes right through.
Yeah.
It's like perfect.
Oh, weird. So you have to like pay attention.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little puzzle, yeah.
Also, I like that you had gauges, that you were a scene kid.
I was such a little emo kid. Yesterday I was just like listening to, what are they called again? Oh, Mariana's Trench. I was like, because it was on the radio, and I was like, I forgot how good Mariana's Trench is.
God.
So I was just like playing it on my iPods at home, and I was just like, I'm just like reliving like my sad emo teenage fantasy. Because I was a scene kid. I was like Hot Topic everything,
Oh my God.
vertical stripes, colorful hair, gauged
Oh my
ears,
God.
and I had my lip pierced too.
Oh, on the side.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see like a little hole.
I still have the hole too.
Yeah.
It's whole size though.
Yeah, I love that thing. And then I wanted to get my tongue pierced too, but
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I think I'm a little too old now.
It really hurts. It was like my most painful piercing.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
That scares me too, though.
Yeah. And I was like pierced, I don't know, I had like a weird vein, so they had to pierce it kind of on a weird angle.
Yeah.
As you say that, I was like,
Once the word vein
yeah.
came,
Nope, we're done here. Shut it down.
Do you feel like your fascination with body modification jewelry has any connection to your desire to like wear beaded jewelry or like that kind of stuff?
maybe, yeah. Like the first thing I ever got was a tattoo. So this like little kind of born this way tattoo. I was a big Gaga kid, still am. And then I was like, oh, and then I just like started getting into like body modification. So the first thing I did was pierce my lip, which was like my favorite for like makeouts. So I was like, oh, I love when you like pull out the little ring. And then I got my nose pierced. It just was one loop at first, and then it fell out because it wasn't like pierced properly. And then like Glee was a big thing at the time, and there was a character who had double nose rings, and I was like, I am getting that.
It's a cute look.
Oh, thank you. And then the gauges came, and then more tattoos came. So yeah, I still have ideas for things I want to do, but just have to grow into that, I guess. Yeah.
I feel like there's this whole like traditional tattooing movement, and like it's something that people talk about a lot or are thinking about in art especially, but then there was like a moment where that discourse wasn't pervasive in the city, and people just got weird, crazy backyard tattoos. Of course,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I had good ones too. Like I got bad ones and good ones. Like,
Yeah.
Like stick and pokes.
I got I have like a really bad one on my back that just like this guy who was a friend of my brother's did. So
What's it up?
What's it up?
it's
Yeah.
there is a Bikini Kill album that's called The Singles, and it was just like a collection of their best songs, and it had like a record player, like a designy sort of, it was like this feminist aesthetic from like the late 90s that's very like, I can't describe what it is. It's like post-Riot Girl, like Latigra feminism. And I asked him to do that, but it doesn't look anything like that.
Oh no.
It's always a fear with tattoos for me too, though. Like, is this
Yes.
gonna work? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any tattoos?
I have none. No, I have none. And like out of no, like, ill will or anything. I just like, I don't know. It's been outside of my world.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't appeal to anyone.
Yeah, you're like,
everyone.
anyways. Well, I mean, I feel like I'm not opposed to it. I'm just like, no, it's not. It hasn't like reared its head for me.
Did you ever get like a traditional tattoo ceremony?
I've thought about it. I've like, and part of it too is like, I think dreaming it is a big part of it, right? Like it coming to you. Like I feel like anyone that I know that has traditional tattoos has had a moment where you look at them and you're like, oh, that's always been a part of you, right? And I was talking to some Maori friends like when I was there in February, and they were talking about how like your tattoos emerge from you, like they're not put onto you, but they like come forward. And I was like, all right, so I feel like this is a responsibility, like if you're
yeah.
getting a tattoo in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe it's possible.
I got one traditional tattoo. It was like this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a wet water ceremony and oh gosh, where were we? It was like an OG nation in like southern Manitoba. We were doing water ceremony there. And Christy Belcourt was there and
Oh my
like
God.
Aaron Consmo, and they did like a two-spirit tent. And then they did like this like shitty chief wouldn't let us do two-spirit water ceremony, so then Christy did like two-spirit tattoo ceremony. And it was like,
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
yeah. But my needle broke. I couldn't even do the full, like my skin was too thick or something.
Oh.
And everyone else was like, theirs didn't hurt, but mine really hurt. Like, it was super painful.
Oh,
So I was just
really?
like, yeah.
Huh.
I have thick skin, I guess.
You need it?
I do. Everyone does.
I mean, it's cool. I think it scares me a little bit because there is that responsibility attached to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, even not, I don't really have any traditional tattoos, but all of mine are just like extensions of me.
Yeah.
So like I got like the femme bear after Johnny, and then I wanted like the otter woman, and then the buffalo, and I have this like idea to like finish the sleeve. Like I want to get like a grandmother and a turtle, and then like a Grand Aramushum and like a thunderbird, and then have like some syllabics in the other space. But yeah, like they all have like significant meaning to me. Like I would never say I just got it for the aesthetics of it.
Right.
It's like, yeah, these ones were like dream stuff mostly. And then this is like my home sleeve. So like I have Manitoba. This is like Selkirk, Manitoba's little water tower. So I'm always just saying like I just carry home with me like epidermically. And then also like my other part of the home is like here in Alberta too.
Oh.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I
love
love
the composition of your tattoos.
I know.
Thank
That
you.
femme bear is like, I
Yeah.
love it.
I love that like this one is a landscape and then this one is like these like outline compositions that work together.
And this is like this amazing artist in Calgary from Mission Tattoo. His name is Pablo, and he does like these really interesting styles of like tattoos inside tattoos, and I was like, it's so perfect.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
But yeah, we can thank Johnny for this one because like, everyone is so obsessed with the bear topping scene.
Oh my god! When I first read that, I was like, I think I just like fell in love with you. I was like, oh my god, this is the most salacious thing I've ever read. So much.
Yeah, I remember I was like doing a literature course, and we had to read Marion Engel's Bear, which is like this kind of
It's
sexy
the bear
story.
fucking story, right? Like
I
that's
know,
it's
but I
a
was like-
Canadian bear fucking story.
I was like, she is not doing it well. I can do it better.
Oh, I like true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, so that's how that came about. But like, remember in festivals, people were like, read the bear scene. I was like, what the hell? That's what you all gravitate to? I'm like, all right, I'll read it. Yeah. There's sexier scenes, but okay. Yeah.
We moved into discussion of our first beaded earrings, which weren't always necessarily made by Indigenous designers. Sometimes we looked to mainstream designs and fashions for over-the-top, campy styles that matched our campy Indian spirits. This led us into a broader conversation about how, quote, non-traditional, end quote, materials can be adapted through contemporary Indigenous feminist affect to be animate and even appendages to our own gender expressions.
I got distracted there.
Wait, so do you remember your like first pair of like beaded earrings?
Oh, that's such a good point. That's such a good question. Yeah, because I was like an adult. Let me think. I think I probably, so before I had my ears pierced, I used to go to Claire's and buy spring-loaded hoops
Ooh.
to wear, and then I would take my mom's earrings, I would take off the hook, and I would clip them onto these. Like, so I think I probably stole some of my mom's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the first ones.
Definitely me too. Like I'm just
Yeah.
remember my mom has this like little collection of beadwork that she gets from like powwows and Peguis mostly, and Fisher River too. And I didn't have my ears pierced at the time, but like I would like put them up against my ears, and like sometimes they were like clip-ons, so I'd wear it like that and just like walk around the house.
Oh, yeah.
Like, but there she was at work at the time. But I was like, ooh la la.
And it was like, I have such a like vivid memory of it. It was like the top drawer of my mom's, like of the shelf, right? And so she pulled it out, and then it was like, they were like clipped onto all kinds of things, and there was like all of these like cardboard boxes, like, and one of them was literally from baby wipes, and she had like busted it open and then stuck earrings all over it. And like, yeah, it was like this, like, it's such an exciting drawer to like just look at, to like, oh,
It is.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the collection.
Oh yeah, yeah. And a lot of them were like that 80s like lots of fringe and clip-ons and like gaudy and big, right?
I'm like, it was kind of ugly now when I look back at it. But
I would still rock those, let's be honest. I love it.
Me and my mom have very different earring styles though. So I'll be like wearing like waist length Savage Rose and she's like, I'm just gonna wear a modest little stud. I remember I bought her a pair of Savage Rose for Christmas and she was like, these are beautiful, but I'll never wear them, so you have them.
Aww.
And I think like unconsciously I knew that.
You knew
that
it.
she was gonna give them
You
to
knew
me.
what you were doing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I haven't thought about like just like I didn't even think about the first time when I wore earrings. And then you're talking about like your mom's room, like I was doing the same thing, like sneaking around through her things. Like now that I think about it, like maybe I would even say like beaded earrings were like an entry point into my queerness, but more of like my Indigiqueerness, I would say.
Oh yeah, right. Like
And
pretty
then-
located there.
Yeah. And then it's also like the side of like femme for me, really. Like sure, I could like contra and beat the face, but it's like nothing's complete without a set of earrings.
Oh, so true. Yeah.
It's just like for me, like the epitome of like femming myself.
Do you feel like that resonates with you?
I don't know. I feel like I'm going through this strange, like, I mean, I've always had, like, my first beaded pair of jewelry was, like, a medallion and, like, some earrings I had for my mom when I wasn't, like, living with her. And I always had those. And I got rid of them when I was a teenager and I was just really bratty and, like, I hate you, Mom. So I don't even have them anymore. Which is really intense.
Bratty teen.
And then there's like that whole moment you have like with your girlfriends when you're like a femme at like university and like you have native friends and you're all showing jewelry. And
It's
you're, like,
identification too.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And then like your jewelry just like expands so much.
Oh,
and
man.
I was
'Cause
like,
you have money also.
yeah,
Yeah, for the first time.
totally.
Yeah.
The ability to actually buy nice jewelry.
Not just like bumming off your mom.
But I feel like my relationship to like femme native monikers have felt more uncomfortable lately, so I'm like trying to like really think about my relationship to jewelry, and there's so much beautiful jewelry that I have that I'm just not wearing right now, and I feel so bad about that. I'm like, should I give it away if I'm like not wearing it? But then what if I want to come back to it? Like, I feel like my journey with like earrings and how they signify specific femininities has like been difficult for me lately. But I'm also like learning new ways to express that. Like I also like Mad Aunty because it's like very like graphic but still cool and like
Totally.
yeah. And I like how JT or Joy T. Arcand is like thinking about like matter in this really cool way. Like we talk about beads and it's such a sacred way, but still like a Cree person made this and like it's like the syllabics and like the words of like our ancestors and it's still so meaningful even though it's like it's 3D printed. Like
Yeah. I like that it's 3D printed because I do think there is sort of a reverence for like certain kinds of earrings, but in a complimentary way. I just bought Erin Consmo's land glitter earrings, and so they're ones that are fish and they're made out of birch bark, and then they have fish scales as the glitter, like on the main part of the fish, and then on the fins is quills. And so there's like a lot of beautiful things going on, and they're all like materials that are like quote unquote natural, like from the land, that kind of thing. And I like them for that reason, but then I also like Mad Aunties because they are the opposite, right? They're still connected, they're still through this, but they're thinking about the same kinds of things but with a totally different medium, and I like that so much. Like, yeah, I think we like live in the future, you know?
Erin's aesthetic is so cool that way. It's so like punk rock and like cool and youthful and like very street art but so traditional.
It's so grounded, right? Yeah, I love it. And those are huge earrings. I mean, because I didn't have my ears pierced until I was an adult, I wore so many clip-on earrings. And so I feel like that is pain, like, because that's like that clamp that's on there.
Yeah.
It's so awful.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
And I loved like big old lady earring, like big old clip-ons, so. I still have a couple of them. I love them. I was like in Brooklyn with a cousin of mine from Sutuna, and we went to like the Brooklyn flea market, and there was like some lady's estate essentially was set up there, and there was huge ass earrings, and they're actually beaded, but they're like non-indigenous, so they're beaded here, and then they have like long danglies, and they're honestly like this big, like like a walnut big, and then they're like huge, and I love them.
Ooh.
They're just like, and a friend of mine was like, "Ooh, that's a lot." I was like, "No, I feel like this is like cute. I like it. It's like the color, they move, they're great. They like make noise."
I like noisy
Me too.
garments.
Yeah.
There's something about like making like a jingle, like a
Jangling as you go along.
Oh. I bought this little like choker from Jessica Metcalf with Beyond Buckskin. So she made it, and it has like the jingle bells on his necklace, and I just like love to wear that. Just like strut around, you know, like, move, and just like have these bells just like jingling on my chest. Oh, it's so good. But when I was recently doing an interview, they were like, "We need you to remove these bells." I was like, "First of all, they're not bells." And then I recently got a pair of this claw. Who's a two-spirit beater and does like little like.
Yeah, I think I have a pair of theirs right here right now.
Oh, they're so beautiful.
Aww. Honestly, they're just the sweetest human in the whole world.
So nice.
And they're like these long little beaded ones, and they have like little kind of like claws at the end, like a bear paw almost. So like those were also very noisy.
Jangly.
I know, just like making so much noise walking through the halls.
I like that though. I got told to remove my earrings for an interview one time.
Like a job interview?
No.
Please remove that.
This is too much. No, it was like an interview for someone doing a documentary. And they're like, "Ooh, we keep picking up this like sound," and it was because I was wearing these ones. And I can't remember. It's a artist in Calgary, but they were little chains, and then they had quills at the end of the chains. And I think it was like Bright Swan maybe, but they were like jangling against each other, and I was so sad because it was getting videotaped too, and I was like, "No, I need these."
Like I kind of bare ears.
I also love that it's a connection with the way that even like ethnographers were talking about women, and they'd be like, "These women are dressed to kill." Basically, they're like, they have so much on them. Their faces are painted. They have like jewelry and
Like Saturday
feathers.
night. The club ready to kill.
It's true though, like there's a connection with that, like the beauty and like the care and like the showing of like our ancestors, and I think that it's a consistent thing. Like you look at old photos, people are like beautiful, like they are prepared, ready for the day.
There's also like, I like how you said earlier, like some kind of like flossiness or like posturing a bit too, like, and I love just like the tackiness of it, but also that's such like a Western moniker too, but just like the like, it reminds me of Dolly Parton's like backwoods Barbie like aesthetic.
Yeah. Like I know people that literally will wear like ratty jeans and a t-shirt but like big beaded earrings, and that's their thing, right? Like I think of like even my aunties growing up, like they weren't like wealthy or anything, but they always like came dressed to kill, and like big beaded earrings were big hair at that time. That was a
The
big part of
beehives and
that.
stuff.
Oh my god, teased.
Natives are camp, right?
Yeah.
Camp, 100%. Yeah.
I'm literally gonna write a review of the NGC show I just saw and being like, that's gonna, the byline of which is gonna be natives are so camp, but because I feel like it's true. Like
It's
we're just
so
so
true.
I
like,
agree too.
yeah.
Yeah.
we take like minimalism or like non-expensive objects and we just like trick them out. Like
Yeah. I mean, powwows are such a good example of that, right? Like, I remember being of a certain age and just being like, oh, a guy half in and half out of regalia. Like, yes! Like, that is my jam!
Oh my
like,
god.
like,
Sign me up.
like t-shirt, but then also like regalia on the bottom, probably like basketball shorts underneath, let's be honest.
If you're the loom. Yeah.
But yeah, like just that sort of, and that is so campy, right? Like somebody walking around camp with, well, like camp not in that way, but like yeah, like half in and half out of sort of this like completely different persona.
Yeah. I notice it all the time too in the bingo halls.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like when I go home,
damn, yeah.
we go to bingo, and it's like it's like my mom's like, dress up, like dress nice. Like, it's like a damn. It's like, what is this, the red carpet? Like, Jesus. But then you see the same thing, like someone's just like, you know, like wearing ripped up jeans, like a Friendship Center shirt. But then the hair is like coiffed and done perfect. They have like lipstick on and eyeshadow,
Lashes.
and then these big beaded earrings. And I just live for it. And the people of all ages, so like even like the elders too, like just like they
yeah.
come ready.
Yeah.
And then that metonome is just like a good luck tool. Then they put like all the little like trolls out and
Trolls.
stuff. Yeah.
Did you?
And they get mad if you look at the number that's like they're sweating on.
Oh my
Like, you
god.
cursed me.
Did anyone ever tell you with your bingo dabber lid to put it up? So don't put it like opening down because then your money can't go in. So if it's open, the money can fall into it.
And so you put that on the number that's supposed to win?
No, when you open your bingo dabber,
Uh-huh.
you just put it beside.
Oh.
I mean, you probably could put it up.
Because like when we have sweats, we'll just like put the dabber top on the number. Because we're not supposed to look at the numbers. At least that's what we do with the self-work. Like that. Because if you look at someone's sweat number, it's never gonna come.
Oh. Yeah,
So-
you could probably then put it, your open,
Put it on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that.
track the money there.
There was like this one meme that kills me because so I think it was made somewhere here in Treaty 7 because it takes part at Grey Eagle and they have this like buffalo slot machine. It's just like this
I'm
man
familiar.
who comes in. He's like, "Ah, oh, sacred buffalo, let me win." And I'm
I
like,
always play the buffaloes. I do. I'm like, bring me home, baby.
and I was like, we didn't eat buffalo tomatoes. Then we go to the wolf game.
Oh my god.
Which does let me win quite a bit. It's called Wolf Ridge. I highly suggest it.
Wolf Ridge.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how native camp, like literal camp, like
Yo, camp?
buffaloes and like wolves, like how
Eagles.
hilarious the whole thing is?
Yes.
Eagles.
Yeah. Even like geometric patterns. Like,
Yeah.
did any old uncles or dads that you had in like the 80s ever wear those ones that were like just so many triangles on a shirt?
I don't think so.
Or like across like Western style or like down one side.
Oh, yeah, that I've seen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's like, yeah, it's like the old West.
What is that? What is that? Like my mom, like she's so wild. Like she, like I don't even like know. Like her nativeness is so elusive to me. But she always has like a picture of like two bears on painted on a drum that's also like a tambourine, like hung up on her wall. And I'm like, what? I don't know.
Oh my god.
Just like the broadest native art possible, like and campiest native art too.
I think it's also like, I feel like those motivational posters are also in the same like genre of,
Yeah.
of like tacky Indigenous art. And we had ones, it was like the it's what is the one? It's like as long as the rivers keep flowing, or when the rivers keep flowing, when the wind stops. I can't remember. Or grass stops. It's like then you will know that money cannot be eaten.
Oh yeah.
And my parents have that up in their house, and it just says Cree Indian at the end of it.
I feel like camp is sacred in this weird way. And I keep calling it camp, but it's like not even camp. It's like pre-camp or like post-camp or something, or like.
But it's like,
Like
they're
native-
just like, this is a native thing and we love it.
Yeah.
And we're putting it up in our house.
I have some of that in my house too.
You're like, I have that exact poster. I love Cree Indian sayings.
You can't drink oil. And it's like those or like the stoic like wedding style shots where it's like someone's like right behind you and the woman's just like looking very stoic
Like
and the man's
hair
like
in the wind. And like there's like an eagle and like moose in the corner.
yeah, it's like all the animals are there. It's like my sister got married this summer and she was like jokingly to her her husband now, Quinn, she was like, oh, can we please go into the woods and take one of those old style native photos? I was like, please, yes.
You're like, I will put it up. I do love it so much. I mean, truly, any t-shirt that was for some like native event in all of our childhoods was like the tackiest thing alive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like,
then
I remember
your
there was
dad or
a-
uncle would wear them for fucking ever.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
for
like-
fucking ever. Like a weird hat that just said like some native group that he had been a part
So
of, and like
Do you
Yeah.
like he played like fastball. Like, no, I remember. I have a picture of me, and I'm literally wearing like a ribbon dress, and then like knee-high, like baseball socks, runners, and then a neon like trucker hat that says Cunningham Reunion, like 91 or something. And it is a very Jessie photo because I'm like eating or something. But like, imagine an entire family reunion of Cunninghams wearing neon green everything. Like, it was a lot.
It's so good.
So much neon.
One thing I did this summer when I went home, so back to Manitoba, my mom has this like kind of, it's this blue jacket that's made of plush, and it has like these wolves on the back, and she got it from a powwow. And I was like, can I please have this? Like, I feel like I need to take this home right now. It's like gonna hold me. And so I just like have this god awful, ugly blue jacket, but it's so good. I love wearing it. It's plus like smells like cigarettes now, and like summer. I was like, all of my sads doing depression. I was like, probably I wasn't showering, so it probably has like BO smell. I'm like, I still like just put it on. Like, I feel like I'm home now.
Yeah.
People be like, what the hell are you wearing?
I have this old ragged coat that I got like at Valley Village when I was in Edmonton, and like I don't know, there's just something, I don't know, your winter coat, you know, and it was like clearly like a expertly made coat that ended up in Valley Village. Professional, would you say professionally?
Professionally made. It's made by professional.
And then those things that you don't want to give away, and like you just keep them in like big like huge Tupperware containers in your closet, and your partner's like, fucking throw this out, and you're like,
do not
no,
have the space.
I need this. Do you like are you like a pack rat with clothes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to like force myself to wear this.
I just
I can
recently
never get rid of
purged
shit.
too.
Really?
Did you?
Yeah, and I just gave it to like women in needs, but
Yeah, that's a good idea.
it's for so long. Like I had these shirts like 8 years. They don't fit me anymore. Like they're too big or too small. I'm like from like West 49 or something.
Oh my God.
And I was like, no, I need this. Like, what if I want to go out and like jog around the neighborhood? And like my previous partner was like, when the fuck do you ever go jogging? I was like, well, I might want to. What if we have a picnic? That was like my big thing all the time. He's like, we're never gonna have a pic. 'Cause I really wanted to buy a picnic basket.
Oh, you should
I
have.
was like, we're gonna have so many picnics. We never did. But I like to be prepared and
Just
clothing.
in case. Yeah.
I do that so much. Or like I'm like, this could become a pajama shirt.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's a lot of like, so because my mom has like made earrings or has made clothing for us so much when we were kids, and like sometimes we'd be like doing something with my grandparents, so we'd have to like come in like Métis regalia, right, for something like that. I feel like I have such a connection to the things that my mom has made. And she recently was like hosting Indigenous Beads, which is like the Twitter account that like basically focuses on a bunch of beaders from all over the place.
Your mom is such a good beater.
Oh my God,
Your
Selena.
mom. Selena. Okay, Selena's the nicest fucking person. First of all. She's like
a
mother
treat.
to all.
Oh
Oh my God.
Mother Selena.
Honestly, I feel like she's like, you don't have a mom? I'm your mom. I'm your mom. And she's like, give me your baby now. Like, she will literally yell that at people. She'll be like, give me your baby. And just to like steal their baby from.
She came to a beading workshop, and just like rolled up ready to bead, and like
Yeah, she had everything she needed already.
And then you guys just jigged. We had like a
I
little
know.
jig
Oh
moment.
my God.
Little mother-daughter jig moment.
Aww.
Yeah, it's like, so I feel like several generations of my family have been involved in sort of like the like cultural education side of things, so we always had things, right? We always had like ribbon skirts or ribbon dresses and earrings and sashes and stuff. And so even like sashes, like I grew up knowing how to make them, like finger weaving them. So I feel like I was like a snob when I would see somebody that had done like machine woven, you know, like the like typical Métis Nation gives it to you. And I was like, not finger woven. Like I was such a snob at like 13. I was like,
I
no.
didn't know that you know finger weaving.
Yeah. So my mom and my grandma went, I don't even know when, but they took a class because they hadn't really grown up doing it. But then my mom taught me when I was like a teen.
As we continued discussing our earrings, the sentiment that our jewelry had a life outside of us started to emerge. We talked about our earrings as if they were their own sovereign beings with their own pathways through life. And from our stories, it would seem that our earrings were a little rowdy at that. The recollections we shared of parting with and grieving our favorite earrings in back alleys behind queer bars reminded me a bit of Sylvia McAdams' story, Uncle's Four Teachings, and the trickster narratives in Cree story and oral tradition. If our earrings were indeed animate feminist tricksters, what were they trying to teach us?
Are huge earrings. Like they're like big ass fish that like go down to my like collarbones.
Yeah, I love it. Don't wear that to karaoke though.
Okay. Rude.
Just kidding.
Do you want to retell this story?
Sure. They got on my case earlier because Josh brought up that I was at a friend's birthday and I lost a Savage Rose earring. And both of you like shocked, like, no. But yeah, so we're at a house party, and then going to karaoke after, and I had these like beautiful Savage Rose earrings, and I was partying, having a good time. We ended up going to the karaoke place. When I got there, I realized I had but one. And so then I had to hop on a Lime scooter and like retrace my steps, like looking for a little Savage Rose in the gutter.
That's like some serious dedication. Though. You're like a little tipsy.
I was like, I can do
kind of
this.
winter. You're on a Lime scooter.
My hands got cold. But yeah, I was like really looking, and so then I had to fully grieve them when I got back. I was like, all right, I guess I just have one now. Like, this is cool. Like, it's just one. It still looks cool. Like, it's rocking it on its own. I was like, I can't believe I did this. And then when my friend got home from like after partying, he like sent me a photo of him holding up the like enormous Savage Rose. I was like, oh god. I went to like cry. I was happy. So
I would definitely be crying. Like, thank you, you sweet, sweet prince. You sweet, sweet Métis prince.
But you have also lost earrings.
I have. I have lost a pair of Catherine Blackburn. These like beautiful, long black ones. Recently, this past summer in Manitoba, at a wedding. I don't know the song, but in my head it was like Willow, whip your hair back and forth, because that's what I was doing. But I really kind of think it was Phil Collins, which also always makes me rock out. The little drum solo.
Oh my god.
So good. So I was just like giving her like real hard on this dance floor, and yeah, I guess I just like swung my hair in my head, and this like earring went flying way into the wall, and was like devoured by drunk white girls.
Just devoured.
It was going so fast. I was like, it's in here, and one of you has it.
Open your mouths.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a quick search. So I hope they enjoy it. So now I just have the one. So when I sometimes wear it,
that's kind of badass though.
it's like one like little Prince moment.
Yeah. Rock the one.
I feel like losing a Savage Rose is like the worst earring you could lose because they're so expensive and rare and beautiful. And
yes, and like
they're
that
all
is
unique, too,
the one
yeah.
that is only going to be made for you. And you fucked it up.
Yeah.
I did. That's what I was talking. That was my self talk when we were at the karaoke. I was like,
I probably would have went home.
just fully in grief. Oh,
That's interesting though. Like, do you like this kind of grieving the earring? So I'm just like thinking like, so this summer I went through like a breakup with a partner of 4 years, and I just like for a while I was just like trying to channel Steve Harrington from Stranger Things, and I was like butching myself up. So I was also like grieving, like I felt like I lost my femme side quite a bit. And in that I just didn't have a relationship with my earrings anymore. I was like, I don't want to wear these. So I was like in the same process. Like the earrings were like kind of maybe the portal or like a gate into like grieving and mourning at the same time.
Right.
And I just couldn't come back to them until I was at a specific point in time. But when that day came, let it be known that I was like, I will put on 2 pairs of Savage Rose at the same time. Mama's ready to go out to bingo. Wait, I have a question.
yes.
So have you ever snagged in like big earrings or earrings in general?
I feel like you're setting me up because you know the answer to this question.
I'm also interested to hear it. Bad relations, Josh.
I'll let you all go first.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
There is always a funny moment if you're like naked except for your earrings.
Just like some like feathers going down.
Like covering the
Cascading
nips.
across your chest. I was like, I can't grow body hair, so I can just put some of these on.
Damn. I honestly can't relate. I feel like if it happens very quickly, yes, but I feel like if there's time, I always take them out.
You'd be like,
Yeah.
I think it depends on the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. I am sometimes with you where I'm like, all right, remove, here we go.
A little bit Aries top, like detail oriented. Like I take out my earrings.
Step by step.
Yes.
It's like step 3 in the checklist. But yeah, I don't know if I have any specific. I need to think about it and see.
Yeah.
What about you?
Do you?
I definitely have. But I'm like, I don't want to share the story. Because people know people.
Yeah.
But all I say is, Well, there's been a couple. And I think it's almost always been in Savage Rose. Because I just remember like being able to like yanking down, like, oh, my fucking lobe.
Ow, my lobe.
Like I like some lobe play.
Romantic and like sensual though about Savage Rose. It's like flowy, like you're in the wind, like you're in kind of your like Indigenous femme domain.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever like produced it that I was like, come into the room. I have nothing on but these earrings.
It's your lingerie for your ears.
I got that. I got Evan Ducharme's jockstrap on. I'm good.
And that is a look.
That is a
though.
look.
I need your next book cover just to be that.
You laying down, like, come hither. Twins?
Yes, I have. Yeah, like I had sex outside of a club one time, and I was wearing an earring that I actually did lose, and it was one of the first. It was like one of those panel style ones, and it was like one of the very first ones I got. It was like my friend Whisper took me to this powwow, and like bought me this pair of earrings, and they had these like beautiful like huge stone like flashy femme pink iridescent like diamonds and like all this beautiful like really femme pink purple beadwork, just these huge medallion earrings. I don't know how I lost one, like because they were so heavy, but I just
think
like
because they're so big though, they like have their own weight and they like escape from your body. So
Yeah.
And it like also like
goodbye.
drains the sensation from your lobe.
Yes,
So,
you
like,
can't
I did
tell.
not realize a 5-pound ear is gone.
Oh, my ears are completely numb. Right.
Do you feel about your earrings like they're kind of alive and you're like, okay, you went on your way, like that was your
Yeah.
journey?
I
Like,
think so. And you know what? I've been taught too that like if an earring keeps falling out, like it should be given away, right?
Mhm.
Because it doesn't want to, like it doesn't want to be with you, right? And so it needs to be somewhere else. And so yeah, I had earrings that literally one night I lost 3 times, and I just gave them to my friend because I was like, nope, these belong to someone else, right?
Mhm.
So I'm giving them to you. Yeah. No, I think it's important to think about earrings as like relatives of our own, right? And these are things that are living in a different way than us, but still like need to be taken care of.
Yeah.
I
And
felt-
like, I was just gonna say like I have like earrings for different things. So like I wouldn't wear like a pair of say like Indi City to like a date night. Like so it's like they perform different and specific functions for me as kind of like relations, and like because I'm like, oh, I need this for a job interview because these like earrings give me confidence. I just like feel like I'm being held. Whereas I'm like, I'm gonna put these spiked ones on because I want to snake real good tonight. So like,
And then
it's like the best
jockstrap.
wingman. Jockstrap. Actually, it's summer. It was like a pride event, and my friend Mark was with me who. Okay, I'm just gonna cut that up. I had a friend with me who recently went through a breakup, and I was there hanging out with someone else, and it was like getting a little frisky because I just remember I kept like looping around the beads on my ear, and I was like making eye contact with this other person, and then I was like, "Want to go for a cigarette?" So we go in the alleyway, and then we just like shit gets a little hot, a little heavy, and these earrings were like. I just kept playing with them. And these little beaded earrings kept hitting, so like making out against the wall, and his like hands are down my pants, and I just remember the beads kept like shingling on my ear, I suppose. And then my friend came out and ruined it, and I was like, "Damn it, go inside." Yeah. But those are like my sexy like snaggin beads. Yeah, it's like the best wingman.
They're the come hither part.
Yeah. I wish it was like Mad Aunty, like a stum or a wasp. But I was telling Jessie earlier, like, I want to have both, like a stum and a wasp, just like on a date, so you can be like signal.
Yeah.
A wasp.
All of a sudden you like whip your head around.
Just like push the hair back.
Yeah. I feel like that's the like ultimate Indigenous femme flag.
It's like a wuss. Or like
A wuss.
someone playing within a wuss earring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm wearing some Rezzin Babe.
Ooh.
We are in the city of
I
West.
know, sweet chocolate black. But I am obsessed with like
Sudagi's
this.
work?
Oh, this jewelry is so beautiful.
I know.
And I love that like it started out as like medicine on the go earrings, so like sweetgrass or sage in resin, and now has like gone into quills, and then now is like
butterflies.
and like sparkles. And so I think it's the same kind of thing that's happening with Mad Aunty, where it's like all of these things are who we are, right? It's
Yeah.
not just one thing or another. Like, we're like complex, and these are all like identifiable as Rezzin Babe earrings, but yeah, it's so fascinating. I love them.
I like that idea of like the final product is so like, we're like, oh my god, this beautiful thing that is so like important to us and we'll always take care of and like love so much and like even animate sometimes. And then also it's like the materials too, like Nico Williams told me this story about bees and the story he got from his cookum that like if you like get rid of beads, they're orphans forever in the world. Like if you like have beads out on like a mat and then you don't use them all and then you don't actually put them away back in your jars and then you just like throw them away and they're orphans in the world.
Oh my god.
Thanks, Nico.
But like the materials are so important and I love this transference onto like contemporary materials like sparkles or like
Those
3D
sparkles
resin,
are
like-
orphans in the world.
Yeah. These are materials we have now and like
Totally,
of course
yeah.
like yeah.
It was becoming clear as I continued talking with my guests that jewelry is about so much more than adornment to Indigenous peoples. Forms of jewelry can be animate relations and a component of our Indigenous systems. We talked about jewelry and the circulation of jewelry through networks of prairie Indigenous kinship as examples of how we are supposed to be in good relation as Indigenous peoples in Manitoba, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. Further, we talked about the use of jewelry and adornment to flag and as a form of mutual recognition with other Indigenous peoples. But we also talked about how forms of visual recognition come with forms of surveillance under the Canadian nation state, and also how those forms of surveillance under the nation state can become reconstituted within the coloniality of our intimate relationships.
You ever had somebody stop you? I got stopped in customs going into New Zealand because they were like, what are these earrings made out of? Because they like have such like restrictions on what can come in and out. And I was like, well, like they're hide and there was something else too. And they're like, where did you get them? And I was like, they were professionally made. Like that was the only thing I could say because it's like I didn't buy them in a store. Like I bought them from some vendor walking around a powwow or something, right? And so yeah, I had to like say that, and then they also were like, do you have anything else that's made out of animal hide? And I was like, yeah, my moccasins. And they're like, where did you get them? And I was like, also professionally made. I don't know, my mom gave them to me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, like Walmart is not the option. But yeah, it was an interesting experience to like think about like what these earrings were meaning to this guy.
I've never been stopped in an airport, but my recent forays into Tinder, all my pictures primarily are like me wearing like some sort of statement earring.
Yes.
And I just got this message the other day, and I just like screenshot and sent to my friend. This like white guy who was like, "Oh, it's so beautiful that you like rep your culture so well with your earrings or something." I was like, "What the fuck? you wouldn't know me like that." So it was just like these earrings. And the same thing with like other apps. It's just like people like all of a sudden like I guess from different optics, primarily of like white cis men. It's just like all of a sudden becomes a means of like exoticizing me to the point of like sex object. But then it works in a different fashion, like you were saying earlier. Like when you're like walking down the street and see someone in beads, it's like this. It's like seeing the headdress in the car, like or the dream catcher in the car.
In a car.
It's a native car. Yeah. It's a nice little recognition moment.
Yeah, I feel like, and it also is such a moment where it brings people together in a way that I think sometimes they would not at all. And so I think a little bit about this as somebody that's in front of a class, and I wonder if you feel the same way about sort of there's something about like you're visually in front of people as well as like there to like think about mentally. We're all sharing space together. But yeah, I think about that a lot for when I teach Indigenous Studies classes, and I'm like, all right, like what am I gonna have as part of this? Like part of my authority for them is also them understanding like I understand your research because I know it, and I'm here for you, right? And sort of that clear marker. And so yeah, I definitely think about it.
With the students, yeah.
For sure.
I was teaching last year like a two-spirit course, two-spirit literature course, and so I'd like wear my earrings, but it's just like I just think it's the same thing with like tattoos or like body modification, where it's like people think they have the ability to touch you or to touch them.
Oh,
I fucking hate that. That's the worst part about being a tattooed person.
Yeah, like you're just like coffee shop or at like at a bar or something. Someone's like, "Oh my god, like let me look at your tattoo." I'm like,
It's
what?
like, don't
the
fucking
fuck?
touch me. Like,
I know, and it's like trauma. It's for me,
right? Like so much trouble. Like,
triggering.
you're really like putting yourself in so much risk right now by touching me. Like, do not touch me. Like,
exactly, and it's like usually like it's a gruff grasp almost, right?
like the whole arm grab is the worst one.
And around my wrist, no, I hate that.
Pulling your arm towards them.
And it happens so often. Same thing with the earrings.
Yeah.
People really they
yeah.
grab your earrings. Oh my
So
God.
many times. It's mostly just like at pubs and stuff, but like this summer I also like survived this like sexual assault episode, and like when people just grab me like that, it like puts me into like panic mode, and it happens so damn much because of with the tattoos, visible tattoos, but also with the earrings. So it's just like this weird allowance. Like I think it does so much for us as like Indigenous folks when we like get together and we talk about earrings. Like Jessie will come over, like we just like go to get like magnets, and then we go to the room and look at all the beaded earrings. The same when I come to your house.
Like, and here these are.
And it's like, and if there's like a native crew, I'm like, okay, let's all go.
All right, let's get them all going together.
Let's get it over
but then
with.
if it's not, it's like, no, this is for us.
Yeah, so can I come too? Get out. There was a small limited pass system in this house. It doesn't favor you for once. So yeah, there's like those different things I think in different spaces, but
Totally. I mean, I wonder too about sort of, like, not peacocking, but like peacocking for that purpose, right? Where you're like, I'm going to this party. I'm gonna like come correct, right? I know I'm here, or even going to like somewhere like NASA, right, where you like know there's gonna be a bunch of like bougie Indians around, and you're like, no, I'm also part of this, and I have come to play.
or Grey Eagle Casino. I do the same thing when I go there. Go down to Satina.
You're like, don't try me.
Yeah.
These earrings are here.
Chelsea Vowell calls it the earrings arms race.
Too real though.
It
It's
is.
hardcore to get good earrings. Like, I feel like I can't even compete with y'all because you guys are like watching vendors when they do like their releases and like messaging them like the second that they
Okay.
launch.
I have
like,
a question. When you got your Savage Rose earrings, how did you get them? Did you do an auction, or did you do the one where you had to like comment immediately?
I've done both.
Oh,
It's like when Savage Rose is old style, like yeah, you have to comment and you get a number and you get a choice.
yes.
Whereas like now, I mean, I just remember making this tweet. I was like, getting Savage Rose is like surviving the Hunger Games.
It's true.
Because you like have 5 minutes and you like. I just remember the last one was like, I want a new pair. I have the money. I saved up. I want to buy it. But I knew it was gonna sell in like 3 minutes max, 3 to 5 minutes max. So it's like. I had one, it was in my cart, and then it was gone. And I was like, oh my god, I don't even know what the hell this is, but I'm gonna buy it. Because you have to be so quick. And I've done the same with other folks, like this club. Indi City does that sometimes too, where it is kind of like this race. And like I do recognize like the accessibility that folks like us have to buy these, right?
Totally.
I
So
mean,
it's
I
expensive.
put it on my book cover so I could just get a pair immediately.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
Oh
like,
my
I'll put it
God.
on my book cover.
Oh.
Okay. But obviously she's so chill and awesome and so fun to work
Totally.
with her.
Yeah,
and
Mel's
I
great.
love how it's like you guys just text back and forth and she's like, what do you want your earrings to say about you? And I remember just being like, that I'm like a boss bitch who like owns my business. Like,
I mean, that is exactly what those earrings say.
I think so too, yeah.
I love your book cover. Oh, it's so pretty.
yeah, Dana shot that in Ganawage actually. I was like pretty much like naked in the middle of winter in Ganawage. For Dana Danger.
I mean,
I don't know
who
what
hasn't been? No, so you have Savage Rose, and then you also have Mad Aunty, right? Like is it the what?
Yeah. Oh, Mad Aunty. Oh, yes. So Joy Tiarka and Mad Aunty did a pair, like a custom pair of jewelry. One for me and one for Dana, who was like shooting. And oh my god, that was like so beautiful. So Nina Sanak means my siblings, but it's like a gender neutral term. But it can also like I'm sure you know this. It can also mean like the broader like
Yeah,
people.
cousins
So
broadly.
yeah. So I like that it was sort of a gender neutral way of saying that. And so to have, I don't know, Indigiqueer can do these like really sort of thoughtful 3D printings that are about like language and like sacred words. It was really cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
It's so nice. What do you think about how language is a part of like Mad Auntie's jewelry?
Language?
Yeah.
I think it's really fucking smart. I feel like not only is it just like cool and like very on trend and like I don't know, Joy just has this way of like she's really on trend when it comes to like girlhood cultures or like femme cultures. She was like a very finger on the pulse with her design. But there's also like this fact that she taught us all like a bunch of people like a few words like and created this sort of like fluency of like Cree language amongst like a bunch of just like indigenous femmes who maybe
I know. Would you wear the earrings that are not in a different language though?
in a different language.
Yeah, would you wear it?
Like if it was
'Cause I mean-
not Cree?
If it was yes, correct. If it was
Probably
not
would,
Cree.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
don't
I
know
would
if
wear like maybe
Would you?
Well, OG Cree, maybe.
yeah, like
Would you wear,
maybe
like,
some
Quay?
like yeah, some of that or like even some like Machif as well.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Like you're kid, but what if it was like Blackfoot or
Oh, no.
like Mi'kmaq?
That is a Cree.
Just like
I will be kicked out. I'm saying that. First you're
to our
here.
host.
You know what you've done in the past.
We heard the podcast.
Yeah.
No Oki.
Not for you. Yeah.
No, but like we're all Cree connected people, right? And so yeah, it's interesting because it also talks about like Cree sovereignty, right? Like
Yeah.
and like Cree bullying.
bullying? Yeah.
Right? Where there's so many Crees that I think yeah, lots of people have West earrings that are not Cree, right? And I'm like, I feel fine about that.
How do you
but-
feel about Crees being kind of colonists and that being a
Oh,
thing?
I agree 100% that it is.
Yeah.
Like, I think because Cree was also, like, part of the language of the fur trade, it, like, traveled a long way. And we've taken over a lot of things. And even in communities where people speak, like, Ojibwe and Cree and Michif, Cree won, right?
Yeah.
And, like, it's so fascinating. Yeah, Cree. Cree bullies. Even the language.
I've been hanging out with like suddenly I went to really rad. There's like so many amazing Tahltan artists actually, and I was hanging out with Peter Morin in Kelowna, and he told me this trippy story. Something okay, I have to remember it perfectly, but it was like you have to whistle when you see Crees on the hill because they'll steal your children, and that's what the Tahltan
For
say
the
about us.
Tahltan.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's wild. Nora Stabsdown, who works in the library in Kainai, told me one time, and she might have just been like pulling my leg, but she told me one time that Blackfoot called Crees the ones we made them cry. I was like, okay.
Settle down.
Right, Nora.
Been too deadly.
Like, I have like kind of Cree guilt, and you guys are like, we're Cree,
yeah. I think it's also that like living here in Treaty 7 is an interesting experience because it's actually the second most spoken language in Calgary, Indigenous language other than Blackfoot.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's a bunch of us here.
Well, like I took a Cree language course at the University of Calgary. Like Moonstone Creations is Cree-run business. Again, if you go down to like White Eagle, I think it is, on Sotina, there's a bunch of Cree beaders and artists there.
Totally.
So like yeah, I think I do like. It's nice to not be in my home territories, if only so I can like recognize what it is, like my reciprocity back to the spaces and the people who live here and the artists who live here. So like I do try like go out of my way to like purchase primarily like Blackfoot artists, mostly like painters, or just to like decorate the home. One, because it supports that business, right? You're like putting food on their table, and two, you support the artist. But it probably wasn't until like I met you and Daniel that I really started to think about, because prior I was just like, I was always in my space, and then I moved here, and I was like, well, I'm Cree, and like, but I'm Blackfoot. And so I just like had to kind of rethink my relationship to different spaces.
Totally.
And like not indigenize myself, right? And I just like, maybe that was just like the kind of attitude I had always being in and on Treaty 1 until I
Right.
moved here. And it was a big learning lesson when I went to BC actually. I was in Nanaimo, and that was just like kind of another learning lesson for myself too, because that is like a, like at least here in Treaty 7, like there's some similarities with
Prairies,
Blackfoot.
right? Yeah.
But BC, that was like, this is like a completely different Indigenous space than what I know. So like, yeah, it just kind of asks you to like humble yourself, but then also like make sure that you're having good relations at the same time. And it's like, it always comes back to like little beadwork. So because I always find myself having these compos in the bead, like in an Indigenous run store. It's just like, so like, where are you from? Who made this? And it's just like an hour-long thing, which is so beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's always like when I'm buying beadwork, it's when the good stories come. I love it though. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like, well, Daniel and I just wrote an article, a chapter talking about if it is. So is Calgary Black or Métis territory? And so we were talking about like, well, no, we don't think so. And he did sort of the political history, like what is like the Nehiopwat, so Cree, Métis, Nakota people versus the Blackfoot Confederacy. So we're dealing with, there's not kin making in the same way here. So like if Métis people are here and they marry Blackfoot people, they become Blackfoot. They're not Métis families necessarily. And so there's kin making in other places, which that's how that territory gets defined. And so we're saying, so if Métis people, this is not their territory, how do we be a good guest, right? What does that mean? And we're like, we looked at like Métis visiting culture to be like, okay, well, what are some components of this? And one of them was like, boundaries of home are porous, right? So you might go live with an auntie, or like, you might have people live with you. That correction is a feature of visiting, right? So like that idea that somebody will tell you if you're doing something off, and you'll like, that's part of the process. And it's not necessarily an opportunity for defensiveness, but it's an opportunity to change something.
Yeah.
And then like rowdiness, basically. Like a sort of like joy in being in the space. Yeah, so we're thinking about that, like, what does that look like today, and what does that change how we're like in each other's territories? So yeah, so we're
it's a
thinking about
gorgeous, beautiful, and important essay.
Oh man,
Everyone should read. Because like every time someone does a land acknowledgement here, I'm like, maybe we shouldn't be saying.
I know. And I think land acknowledgements are always political, and they're always like an interesting like moment in time, and it, like who has control and power and stuff. But yeah, I think it's useful thinking about like, well, what happens when we are absolutely not in our own territories, right? How do we like still be good guests and still think about our space there, and and not to like diminish someone, right? It's not to like shrink someone down, but to have them be connected and to be better guests. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Above all, Joshua, Jessie, and I kept coming back to the central tenets of care present in the making and adornment of jewelry. In discussion of Jessie's impending nuptials, we began to talk about specific forms of care within Indigenous communities surrounding celebration, ceremonies of love, and our adornments. Our forms of aesthetic adornment all came with their own teachings about how to care for them, and through wearing them, care for ourselves and community generally.
Are you gonna wear a sash at your wedding?
I don't think I'll make a sash, or I don't think I'll wear a sash, but I might make a sash. Yeah.
Are you gonna wear any, like, sort of, have you thought about, like, your...
Oh my god. Yes, I have thought about it. All right.
Please consult
Yes.
with us.
Okay. I feel like both of you are excellent starters. So, I was never somebody that like had it like, oh, the perfect wedding dress or anything like, and that's not really generally my like jam either. So I do already have like a white dress that I've worn like multiple times to things that I like is comfortable, is like great, like from Torrid. Shout out to you. And I was thinking about though like wearing that and then not actually having a bouquet, but having like a shawl.
Oh.
Is that an O of
I see
like...
where this is going. I like it.
And my mom has a beaded velvet belt that I might like borrow and use that. And then I was like, so imagine this in your mind, maybe mugs, maybe flats, I don't know, but imagine that, should I wear a veil or not?
Oh damn, I don't know. Only you know if you want to wear a veil.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, walk me through the aesthetics.
The aesthetics of wearing a
Or
veil.
like a cape or...
Okay, so because I am such like an art historian, I look at all the objects and I'm like, oh my god, it meant this thing, or it means this thing, or like whatever.
Right.
I went for like I knew like, that I didn't want to be super, like, blinged out, like, with native jewelry or anything, and I just wanted to be very casual. I didn't even want to, like, have a huge wedding. I think I did it for Seb, because Seb is, like, he's romantic, he's French, and, like,
I know.
yeah.
He's French.
French. But I love the photos from your wedding because
Yeah, we
it was
did the Babe blanket.
Yeah.
Like, we got married on the Babe blanket. But I actually got shit about that, like, in my community. Like, not even my community, like, the queer community. Well, it is my community. The queer and trans community in Montreal. There are people, like, who were like, why would you get, like, the colonial history of the Babe blanket? And I was like, don't you trust that I, like, know what that means?
Yeah.
And I made a choice about
Yeah.
that symbol and, what, like, getting married on that blanket.
Yeah. Oh man.
It was wild.
Well, I feel like Babe blankets are such a thing where people have lots of feelings attached to them because of that
Yeah.
history, and like depending on what component of that history you know, you might have a different relationship to it.
That's true.
Like
That's
my
true.
dad literally has. So when he retired, he got a Hudson's Bay blanket, and then he got it made into a capote, like a winter coat. And so he wears that damn Hudson's Bay blanket coat everywhere in the winter. Like, it's this, like, fancy coat. And so, like, if all of a sudden you see, like, my dad walking down Edmonton, like, you know he's going somewhere fancy if he's wearing that Bay blanket
The HBC coat.
So, yeah, he's, like, fully just, like, yeah, like, this was a gift to me also. And I'm gonna, like, wear it, right, with pride. Like, totally understanding the history behind it, too, right? Nothing is, like, sort of neutral.
It's true. It's true. It's like a very intense signifier. And then there's also, like, so many of us have, like, Hudson Bay, like, in our literal fucking bloodlines, man. Like,
So true. Yep, Jasper House. He was a factor in Jasper. Yeah, it's one of my ancestors.
and, like, my friends who were, like, I feel like, I don't know, they're with me, like, taking care of me and just, like, hanging out with me before the wedding and just, like, doing our own version of, like, whatever that, like feminine space is, like, right before the wedding or whatever. Like, we're all, like, like, our, like, related thing was, like, Métis, and so it just, like, kind of made sense.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you make of it what you will, right? There's so many different connections with a Hudson Bay blanket.
Yeah.
I also love the skirt you wear, though.
Yeah.
Like
I wanted
pink
to wear-
tulle. It's
I
such a
wanted to
good
really
skirt.
fuck with it. I wanted to wear, like, a cat sweater, but Seb wouldn't let me, and it's still, like, it's the one thing that he ever put his foot down about in our relationship, and I was like, squash my style, man.
No.
That's a big one. That's a big
I
one.
want this cat jacket. It's very important. It's very meaningful.
Would you wear wedding jewelry? First of all, would you ever get married?
Maybe. Like, I am a romantic. Yeah, so maybe I would if the right conditions came along. But I have had this idea of, like, I would just, like, bling myself out with beads.
Oh
I
my
think.
god.
I would, like, get some, like, some, like, story boot moccasins, like, Manitoba moccasins. And then just, like, probably get, like, a suit, but then just, like, have someone, like, bead the lapels and stuff.
Oh.
And then I would just, like, femme it up with, like, some earrings. That would be my style. And also, I just recently bought this blanket from 8th Generation. It's called the snaggin blanket. And I was like, I really want to use that. So I'd bring that too.
That'd be so cute. Oh my
But it's like
God.
this wide and, like, this long. Like, what's going to fit on this? It's just like going to cover me up.
Like little tiny blankie on you. It's like, oh, we're left.
So true.
No, I feel like it is such a funny space to be in, right? Like, there's so many expectations, and people are constantly like, "Ooh, I have a suggestion," and you're like, "Thank you for the suggestion." But yeah, it's a super weird space to be in, and it's something that, like, Chris and I are both kind of like, we just, like, we want to have a good party for people. We want to kind of give gifts to people as part of the experience, and so yeah, it's like the aesthetics of it is something that is, like, less important to me than, like, the party. Yeah.
It's so much work. So I've had to be a bridesman or bridesmaid, depending on what the person wants to say. The last 3 years, and I have to do one more again next year. And that's so I did my sisters, I did 2 of my best friends, and I have another best friend next year, all in Manitoba. And it's so much work, and they stress themselves out for, like, really no reason. Like, my sister, we have these things called socials in Manitoba. So, like, basically the whole town comes and parties, and we buy drinks and sign auction tickets, and we just, like, fundraise for who's ever getting married. So I think she made, like, $12,000, and then she had to get a loan for $10,000, her and her husband. And I was like, why do you need all of this? Like, you're not enjoying it. You're not having any fun. I'm not having any fun because I'm like running around everywhere. And like these people that you hardly know are like the ones enjoying the benefits. And like that you saw, I just like don't understand. For me, what I would do is just like a backyard wedding. Like have a big barbecue, bring the family and friends, like, you know, bring a couple 2-4s or something, and just have a good time. Like my parents did that, and it was the best time.
Oh my god!
Like they, like my mom, she got a couple like custom made beaded things from the community, and they got married in Peguis. So this was like maybe like 12 years ago. We were together forever before. But yeah, they just like went to my great grand's house, like, and everyone just built a big kind of dance floor using like 2x4s and wood that we found, and we just got some tarps, and the whole thing maybe costs like $1,000, like with the dress and renting a suit, and paying a DJ, and we just had we had like jiggers and like we had like fiddle music and people were dancing traditional, and then just like dancing for the heck of it, and we're just playing like Loretta Lynn all night, Dolly, Conway Twitty. It was just like the best time, and I was like, if I ever got married, that is the type of wedding I would want. It's just like in the backyard, and a homemade dance floor under a tarp, and we're all just having the best time. And afterwards, my mom she was like, I can't wear this dress anymore. She's like, put on like a Budweiser t-shirt and like shorts. She's like, it's too hot in Manitoba. And I was like, this is how weddings should be. Versus the other ones I've seen where they're just like pageants.
Yeah, like it's super strange. I mean, it's funny you talking about like another wedding like that, because my parents' wedding, I wasn't there, but like people talk about their wedding because it was like a big to-do, and it was a wild party. Like people had a wild time, but nobody fought at their wedding, and they like people always comment, they're like, it was a wild time but nobody fought.
Yeah.
But like they had swamp water where like people were going around drinking like all of the like stuff left in like cups and stuff, and then someone was like they were selling it or something at the wedding, but I think it was an open bar, so maybe not, I don't know. But there's all these like stories that are attached to my parents' wedding because it was just sort of like two families that knew each other and like just wanted to hang out and have a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, the swamp water maybe not so much, but but like that idea of like a good party, a good dance, like people just like having so much fun is so important to me. And like I feel like that idea of like, you know, someone's day or they're like the center of attention is like kind of off kilter, because it's like I hate that shit. I want pictures of people having fun. I want pictures of people talking to each other and dancing, and like I don't need like 60 photos of me like gazing off into the sunset while like an eagle flies ahead and there's a wolf.
Wait, but you do need that though, actually.
And I will make it into a t-shirt. We're just like printing t-shirts beside.
I love that though.
But yeah, like I would much rather see photos of people having fun, because like one of the things I really love of looking at photos of my parents' wedding is seeing people that I never met or people that I know much younger, right? And like that's such a gift, right, to like see that, and that's what I would want to look back on and remember.
It is the beautiful thing. I do the same sometimes when I go home. I'll just like go to my parents in the basement and get their photo albums and just like rifle through these. And it's like the best.
It is.
And again, it was like a very similar thing. It's like that was the first time, like my dad was a 60 scoop survivor and day school survivor, and was placed in foster care a bunch, so he like was really kind of removed from his family, which is from northern Alberta. So I think he's like Dene Cree, from like Fort Chip area. But so like that, when they got married, like he's like, I want to do it. Like he's like my home is kind of Peguis, and so we did it there. But then he brought his family that he had just like recently found and met, and they all kind of came to Manitoba, and it was just like this reunion, this kind of fusion of like finally all these families together, and then all the Peguis was there, and it was a crazy party. That's where like my one aunt was. I was like a teenager at the time. She was like, "Here, take this, try it." I was like, "What is it?" She's like, "It's medicine. It's medicine." Okay, Jaeger. She's like, "Well, in Germany, it's medicine."
Aunty.
I was like, "Oh my god!" Like the first time I ever tried that.
Oh my god!
But the people still talk about it all the time, and like so, like it's like on Facebook, someone would be like, "So when are you guys gonna get divorced and remarried? Because we all need to come back together."
Yeah.
What was the gift economy at your family's weddings?
Oh.
gifts, like in terms of like to the
Yeah.
brides and whatnot?
Yeah, like what do you buy? Does your family buy gifts for the bride and the groom?
Definitely,
Like,
yes.
Okay.
I have given money a lot, actually.
Really?
Yeah, and I feel like it's sometimes because I'm traveling to a wedding or something and I don't want to like haul something, but I also feel like it gives people such flexibility.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, I know that some people don't like it because they're like, man, it's like weird or whatever, but yeah. Chris is Chinese, and so there's a whole other set of cultural relationships with gifting and money that we are finding out as our parents meet next week to talk about things.
Send updates.
Yeah, like it's super interesting. So like even for my parents, like the number of money, like the amount of money that they are thinking about, even like because we're like we'll pay for everything, but if you want to feel connected to this, I don't know.
Also for like dinners and stuff or drinks, like, if it's open
There
bar.
there might be some way to do it, but for them they're like, we just want to, like, whatever you need help with is the phrase. And we came to realize that meant, like, for my parents, the amount of money is not tied to, like, an amount of love or anything, but it's like, we just want to have a good party for people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like pulling teeth, though, to get to that, because I was like, do you have, like, a sense of what you might want to be involved in? My mom was like, I don't know. And I was like $100? Like, $10,000? And she's like, well, I don't know. And I was like, so not $10,000? She's like, well, no. Well, if you wanted $10,000, and I was like, no. So it's like complicated, right? These like connections with money for my parents. It's like no, like it's for the feeling of it, the party of it, rather than the money that's attached to it. And so yeah, it's really interesting navigating it.
I've sometimes given money, like just because I know I'm going to be eating, like I know how expensive like this, like feed 200 people sometimes or whatever. But so the last 3 weddings I've been in, I've been like kind of running the show a little bit and like having to fly from Calgary to Manitoba, so I've never really given anything.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll just like give them like small gifts I find, like here you go, I think you'll look good in this, or enjoy this book. But for the most part, like at least in Manitoba, and I think Saskatchewan has steak and doughs or something they're called. But it's like every time we have a wedding, like the community just fundraises and we each take turns and we just like have this big social party, and we pretty much like the community pretty much pays for everyone's wedding.
That's so interesting. Yeah,
So,
socials.
yeah, it's the best.
Because you asked me
That's
like, are you having a
awesome.
social? And I was like, no. Yeah.
But it's so like I had to plan my sister's social. It was more work than the wedding, because you're like trying to get a liquor license and like find a venue that's big enough so that you have all these people to make revenue, and then like selling these tickets, driving them around town and around the city, and then like picking up like booze for like 500 people, and then like making sure like there's like. My sister kept saying, she's like, we have to have a late lunch. I was like, stop saying late
Midnight
lunch.
lunch.
That sounds like such a white person thing.
Midnight lunch, baby.
Just say snacks. It's like late lunch. It's like 9 p.m. So it was just so much work, but it's just like, to me, that's the most beautiful thing that I think Manitobans do. It's just like we each, when everyone gets married, like everyone just takes care of them. Even if you don't really know them or you just went to high school with them, we still go to those parties.
Right. Yeah.
And even if you like you don't drink or whatever, like you still go and you just like, here's $50 or. So it's just like really cool community care that I didn't realize was special until I moved here.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, I have to like fundraise all this money or like save all this money. I'm like, well, what about a social? Like, what the hell's that? It's like, you are backwards. You pay for your own wedding.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've also been thinking about this idea of like gifting people, right, as part of our wedding, and like part of it is like the experience, like having like we'll have a band, probably like we'll have a fiddler, and we'll have a good party and feed people, obviously. But we were also thinking about like, well, with this amount of people, how do you connect with people and thank them? Like, because all the people that are there are people that we like love and are connected to us through our families, our friends, and yeah, we like want them to be there. And so we're thinking about that. We're like, a receiving line, we're like, fuck, that's too many people. That would take like so long. So yeah, we're like, that won't work. But yeah, we've been thinking through it and like thinking about like, is there a way that we can like give a blanket, right, to each family, sort of thing, right? So it's like you and Seb wouldn't need separate ones, but like we'd have one together.
Damn.
Have to share.
Yeah.
But yeah, that idea that like it's
a
also
lot.
it's a lot, right? And it's a lot of coordination. I'm like,
Yeah.
do I have the choreography in me?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Just take it slow.
Yeah.
One thing at a time.
Yeah, so it's, I don't know, weddings are definitely moments of thinking about like objects
Yeah.
and thinking, and jewelry too, right? Like I've been thinking a lot about it, and you know, I have like lots of beautiful jewelry that I love and has stories attached to it, but I think, is it like something that's like, oh, is it something brand new, right? Or is it something that like comes from somewhere specific, right? That is sort of imbued with a history already? I'm not sure.
What do you think about the argument that marriage is not feminine, like not the rev?
Yeah, it is a totally legit argument. I think that there's a lot of like pragmatic ways that I think we were thinking about it too, because we're like, we want to think about like building a house, right? And it's like, okay, well, that can be easier. Like that's a very like financial sort of, we live in capitalism way of thinking about marriage. And it's like absolutely a component to it, right? I think there's so much that is tied to ownership and owning kind of the person that you love that is tied up in marriage. And I think that idea of like, there's these two people and we have to like, they have to sit separate from everyone else and we all watch them do this thing that is totally, like, it's an awkward place to think about community when you're really like, for us it's like, oh, we have all these people around us, right, that we love, and then it's like all eyes on us. Yeah, I think it has the potential to like be really shitty, and it has been really shitty for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, we live in like colonial context and we do all kinds of fucking things that we can't like get outside of colonialism, and like, oh, I mean, like, not saying that like there's any like more value in being married than not married, but I'm just like about choice, and it just makes me feel like in this weird way so fucking secure. Like I had like a very insecure like families like growing up, so like this idea of like creating a new family and that being a very, especially when you're queer family too, and like all the things that can happen. I don't know. I don't fucking trust foster care like or social services. Like if anything happened to me or like I birthed the children, like a lot of, I don't know, just like there's a lot of practical, like when you really love someone you want to have a life with them, like, and then you can just like protect yourselves from all these like colonial sort of things by just like unifying your lives. Like
yeah, it has a role to play for sure. I mean, it also is like a lovely way to be like, I love this person, you know, like I love this person and I'm gonna have a party about it. And I'm gonna thank all these people that helped us be the people we are today. Like there's a lot of power in that.
That's a beautiful way to look at it.
We've also been thinking too, like there's so much death in our family, in my family. There has been, you know, you get together for funerals or for wakes, and this is like an opportunity to get a bunch of people together for something that is not tied to death, and like that's super powerful to me, and I think it's important. Like when we were looking at our guest list, we're like, there's a lot of people, but I was like, I've also gone to these people's funerals, right? And so like this is important in a different way. Yeah. But yeah, marriage is a totally weird space to live in.
So true.
Yeah.
We go to so many funerals where we don't celebrate love.
I know. And even if you're not invited to someone's wedding, you still like see it and you're just like, love. Well, most of the time. Sometimes you do not feel like that. I've definitely been to some weddings where I was like, I hate one of these people.
Your wedding is gonna be so cute though. It's gonna be like the bougie natives. Like we're all gonna come in. Just, like,
I'm so excited.
Just like the antiques rolls out.
I want like a red carpet of looks. Like
I am excited.